What if I told you the most decisive battle of World War II began as a race for oil and ended as a trap hidden in plain sight? In the summer of 1942, Hitler launched Operation Blue, aiming to seize the Caucasus oil fields and cut the Soviet Union's lifeline. But one city stood on the Volga like a lock on the war's artery: Stalingrad. It wasn't just a name on the map. It was a psychological symbol and a strategic choke point. If Germany could take it, Soviet logistics would bleed. If the Soviets could hold it, the entire Axis advance could stall. In late August, the Luftwaffe turned Stalingrad into ruins. Tens of thousands of civilians died in the air raids, and the city became a wasteland of smoke and collapsed concrete. But that destruction created a paradox. The rubble made defense stronger. Every factory hall, every stairwell, every basement became a fortress. This would no longer be a battle of maneuver. It would be a battle of attrition, measured in meters, not miles. Germany's Sixth Army pushed into the city, block by block, house by house. The Soviets clung to a thin strip of land along the Volga, resupplied by night under artillery fire. Inside the ruins, combat turned into close-quarters chaos. Snipers, mines, grenades, and bayonets. The names of places, Pavlov's house, the tractor factory, the grain elevator, became symbols of stubborn resistance. The German advance slowed to a crawl, but Hitler demanded the city at any cost. While the Germans bled inside Stalingrad, the Soviets prepared a second war outside it. They studied the Axis flanks, held not by German elites, but by Romanian, Hungarian, and Italian forces with weaker equipment and thin lines. In November 1942, the Red Army launched Operation Uranus, a double-pincer strike that cut through those flanks and closed around the Sixth Army. Within days, over 250,000 Axis soldiers were trapped inside a massive pocket. Hitler ordered them to hold. He promised resupply by air, hundreds of tons per day, but the Luftwaffe could deliver only a fraction. Winter crushed the pocket. Starvation, exposure, and disease spread rapidly. Horses were slaughtered, ammunition ran low, and the wounded froze without medicine. The Red Army tightened the ring, cutting the pocket into smaller pieces. On January 31st, 1943, Field Marshal Friedrich Paulus surrendered the southern pocket. 2 days later, the last German forces laid down their arms. The cost was catastrophic. Total casualties, killed, wounded, missing, exceeded 1 million across both sides. Stalingrad became the first time a major German army was destroyed in full view of the world. It shattered the myth of German invincibility and flipped momentum on the Eastern Front. From this point forward, the Red Army would advance west, battle after battle, until Berlin fell. Stalingrad was not only a battle, it was a pivot. It proved that industrial scale and strategic endurance could break even the most formidable armies. It showed that a city could become a trap, and that a single failure in logistics could decide an entire war. It also revealed the brutal cost of total war, a cost measured not just in territory, but in human lives, ruins, and a shattered generation. If you want to understand why the Axis ultimately lost World War II, this is where the outcome changed. A frozen city on the Volga became the place where the war turned, and nothing after it was the same. For more turning points like this, subscribe to Moments Before Zero and hit like to see what happens next.